nothing near the keyboard today. It literally just did it on its own. Anyway, all right. Well, welcome again, guys. Is it a full moon? I don't know. Let's see if YouTube does it again. Wow. Yeah, something's going wrong with YouTube. Very strange. Anyway, Alexa, turn on the cam light. There we go. The hair is getting cut off. Yes, the hair is growing, but it's getting cut off too. It looks nice, but it's a pain in the ass. Humidity in summer, it's just like not fun. Anyway, yeah, so YouTube glitched out again. So Gunther, I think you guys can tell people when they get there. Or if the old one is still there, we go back and tell them. But YouTube shut itself down. I wasn't even near the computer. This is what happened yesterday. YouTube just shut itself down. Very strange stuff. Anyway, all right, guys, welcome. Let's just get rolling. I don't want to bore everybody on TikTok and Discord. But anyway, welcome, guys. I'm John Aravosis. Hello, TikTokers. We've got Discord folks over there, YouTube folks over here. This is where we talk about the latest news from Ukraine. Yeah, I doubt it's Russian hackers because I doubt even the Russians are able to hack Ukraine or hack YouTube. But it's pretty weird. YouTube being unstable is very strange. I could reach out to them, but they're going to go, it must have been a problem on your end. It's like, really? I have telepathy? Anyway, just a reminder, folks, Saturday morning is our coffee talk, or for TikTokers, our coffee talk. We hang out, we talk. It's quite fun. We do basically it's the show I do on the weekends for the paid monthly subscribers. So it's everybody on TikTok that has SNN next to your name, the Discord folks who have colored names, not white, and the YouTube folks who've got green names. Everyone is invited for the weekend, and it's just a show I do kind of hanging out with you guys, but it's a thank you. Thank you, Max. Thank you, Pedro. Thank you, Bjorn. Just sort of a thank you show I do for folks where we hang out, and it's nice just for the paid subscribers. So, hey, Bjorn in Sweden. Hey, Skywalker, thank you for that. I know the old internet, unplug YouTube. Exactly. Unplug YouTube, let it sit 60 seconds, and then plug YouTube back in again. Honestly, I'm telling you, last night, I thought YouTube did it. It's when the show ended last night on YouTube on its own, I thought it was YouTube. And I said, I must have hit a button, but it didn't quite make sense. So anyway, all right, guys, let's get rolling. There's not a ton of Trump news today, surprisingly. A good amount of Ukraine news, but we'll get rolling. The Trump news, okay, this has been kind of interesting, actually. Hey, Nick in Norway. This has been kind of interesting. The Trump people, Trump's trying to get that. Trump, okay, we did learn this today. Trump apparently, this is actually quite interesting. On Monday, Trump was contacted by 3 of the top, if not the 3 top big box stores in America. Home Depot, Target, and who was the third? Oh, Walmart. Walmart, Home Depot, and Target contacted Trump and said, because of your tariffs, there is going to be inflation. They said, we did not raise prices yet, but we're going to raise prices. But they warned him that store shelves were going to be empty, is what they told him. We're going to run out of stuff and the shelves are going to be empty and it's going to be your fault. They then said the shortages on the shelves could start as early as 2 weeks from now. Trump freaked out. And in addition to the fact that these 3 huge American companies told Trump there's going to be inflation, and there is going to be empty store shelves, supply problems, basically. Well, why empty? Because they can't get them in the country. Because the price of goods from China just went up 145%. Meaning, if you buy something from China for $100, you now have to pay $145 tax on top of the $100. No one's going to do that. No company's going to do that. So they can't buy the goods at all. I suspect that's why. Actually, the other problem is, I was hearing about this from Europe and everything too. The other problem is, since every single good has a tariff on it now, I suspect that causes problems in terms of just getting things in the country. That you've now got these different tariffs on every single good, that it just gets complicated. So anyway, so what happened was the 3 top American companies, or 3 of the top American companies, told Trump, you are destroying the country. You're going to have inflation. You're going to have empty store shelves. And at the same time, the stock market was melting down. The bond market was melting down. The dollar was melting down, which doesn't happen simultaneously. Typically, the stock market goes down. The bond market goes up. Pretty much nobody wanted to invest in America. They thought we're crazy and they didn't want to invest in us. And that's what finally freaked Trump out and made him cave. Except did he cave? Did he cave? Right? Trump caved earlier this week and said, oh, maybe we'll get rid of half the tariffs on China. Thank you, Kathy, for the gift. Maybe, but he didn't. He didn't. The market loved it, though. His Treasury Secretary said, oh, yeah, I think we could have a deal with China. I think we could have a deal with, I think they mentioned India, Vietnam, somebody else. And none of those are happening. But basically, they said it in order to juice the market, in order to get the stock market. And the stock market, and I've always found this, I have to say, I found people on Wall Street to be a little simplistic. It sort of surprises me. For people that deal with so much money, they seem to like, literally it's like cat. You literally sit there and go, oh my God, Trump said maybe he'll get rid of some of the tariffs on China, but maybe not. That's hopeful. Market goes up. And you're like, looking at this going, he didn't promise anything. He literally promised nothing. The stock market, squirrel, exactly. He didn't promise anything. Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Russell. Thank you, Alan. So, let's see what happens with that. But Trump has not, let me put it this way. If on Monday of this week, we were looking at inflation at all the top big box stores in America, and we were looking at the top big box stores in America, Walmart, what did we say? Walmart, Target, and Home Depot. If we were looking at those stores having empty store shelves because of Trump's tariffs, nothing changed. The tariffs did not change. So we're still looking at a prediction from America's top companies that we're going to have inflation and we're going to have empty store shelves because of Trump's tariffs. Oh, well. And China did not blink. Exactly. Kelly just said China did not blink. So, right. So they were, the Trump people. Well, then Trump and his people go, well, what Trump meant was, if China blinks and lowers its tariffs, we might lower ours. Except China increased its tariffs after we increased ours. We did ours first, and then China went up. Then we did more, and China went up. And then we did more, and China didn't go up. China stopped. So China's at 125% on us. We're at 145% tax on them. And China's supposed to come down. But also, China's supposed to come down. Trump had said he might come down. He lies. Basically. So kind of a mess. Oh, well, I think, there was an interesting article yesterday I was reading from one of the Wall Street experts saying that basically don't invest in the S&P 500 this year. One of the experts said, just don't. It's not worth investing in America's top companies. He said, look, we're probably looking at a correction anyway, meaning the market's going to go down anyway. It's overdue for the market to come down. But because of what Trump was doing, he felt it's not like things are going to get better. Right? Which I think we all know things are not going to get better with Trump. So he was talking about investing abroad, but that's bad for America. We don't, as Americans, we don't want people to invest abroad. We want them to invest here. Buy our bonds, buy our stocks, buy our dollars, buy our goods. Not so much. The Pentagon. So Wall Street Journal had a story today about how Pete Hegseth, who's the pretty boy from Fox News, who Trump hired because he was a Fox News host. That was his big qualification for being defense secretary. He's pretty, not to me, but to somebody. He's pretty, but that is why Trump hired him. He's on Fox News and he's pretty. It's been a shambles. Who could have guessed that a guy hired for his looks and being on Fox News would be very bad at being Secretary of Defense of the largest military in the world? Who knew? But he is. The Wall Street Journal article says, listen to this. Word had leaked that Trump was planning a classified briefing. Oh, no, Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, was planning a classified briefing for Elon Musk on China, a revelation that infuriated President Trump and raised alarms inside the Pentagon, given Musk's business ties to Beijing. Hegseth shouted at Admiral Christopher Grady, the then acting chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, "I'll hook you up to a effing polygraph." So Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, the pretty boy from Fox News, got pissed at the top general at the Pentagon, assuming he's the one who leaked the fact that Elon was going to be giving a briefing on our top war plans with China, which no one should know. But Elon, they were going to tell. He blames the chairman of the Joint Chiefs based on no evidence and says, "I'm going to hook you up to an effing polygraph." He then this is my favorite. He then demanded proof that Grady, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, hadn't leaked news of the briefing. Okay, as a lawyer, this always makes me laugh. So people who aren't lawyers sometimes fall for this. He demanded the guy prove he didn't leak it. In the law, it's called proving a negative. You can't prove a negative. It's impossible. It's like me saying to you, oh, you say you've never killed anybody. Can you prove it? How do you prove you've never, or let's say you've never punched somebody in the face? Let's be nicer. How do you prove you've never punched somebody in the face? You would need a video of your entire life that somebody could watch. You can't prove a negative. You can't prove you didn't do something. There's just no way, right? That's what happens. So he screwed up. He screwed up. Oh, you got him before I did, Blue. Thank you for that. Hang on a second. Oh yeah, so he's demanding proof that a top general prove he didn't do something, which is impossible to do. Grady was never subjected to a polygraph, according to the Wall Street Journal. Hegseth would go on to accuse a number of other people for the leak, including Lieutenant General Doug Sims, the Joint Staff Director, who Hegseth also threatened with a polygraph. Then there were the signal fiascos, where Hegseth leaked classified information to a journalist and to his wife and to his brother-in-law using unsecured channels. Well, they were secure, unsecure channels, basically private sector channels that you're never supposed to put classified information on. One could argue that this is not one could argue. It's probably a felony what he did by putting the information out there. Then at least 5 political appointees at the Pentagon had been fired or resigned, and Hegseth says he's referring some of the aides for criminal investigation. He's referring some of his top aides for criminal investigation now. Meanwhile, he's under investigation by the Pentagon's Inspector General for the alleged mishandling of classified information. That, my friends, is America's Pentagon under Donald Trump. Oh, well, this is the problem. When you hire somebody, basically DEI, when you hire somebody because he's pretty on TV, that isn't really the reason you should be hiring a Secretary of Defense. You should hire a Secretary of Defense because, they're good at their job, not because they're pretty on Fox News. But what do you do? All right. Let's shift to the Ukraine stuff. As I said, there isn't a ton of news. There's important Ukraine news tonight, but there isn't a ton of news overall. But let's go on. Ukraine, it is day 1,153 of Vladimir Putin's special 3-day military operation in Ukraine. Kyiv's Air Force. So there was a huge attack last night on Ukraine called Barbaric by Sky News. As you may recall, Yulia was with us last night, who's our Ukrainian friend. She is in Kyiv, and she sort of checked in with us around this time and said that they just had a massive air attack, and they were expecting another one in the early morning for them, like 5, 6 a.m. Well, there was a massive Russian attack, 215 drones and missiles fired, at least 10 people killed and 90 injured as of a couple hours ago. Zelensky says the ballistic missile that killed at least, actually 12 people now, 12 killed. Zelensky says the ballistic missile that killed at least 12 people was a North Korean missile. Let me read you a description from Sky News International editor Dominic Waghorn about the attacks. He says the events in Ukraine over the last 24 hours have been utterly barbaric, bad even by the standards of this horrendous war. Multiple Iranian drones and North Korean missiles laden with explosives brought carnage to swaths of the country, killing yet more civilians. This was Russia's answer to President Trump's peace plan and ultimatum. Normally, strangely reluctant to criticize Russia, even Trump was moved to implore Vladimir Putin to stop. What was interesting is Putin did this because Trump is putting out a peace plan about Ukraine. I mean, peace plan, if you want to call it that. And what's interesting about this is the I don't know who you're talking about, musical. Oh, it's not our friend. No, our friend Vlad is fine. Yeah, it wasn't our friend Vlad. Sorry. Didn't know what you were talking about there. He's fine. Trump tweeted criticism of Vladimir Putin, which was shocking because basically Putin told Trump, right, by doing this attack on Ukraine. And even Trump, who doesn't like to criticize Russia ever, I should say Trump, let me rephrase that. Even Trump, who never criticizes Russia ever, criticized Putin. He said, I am not happy with the Russian strikes. And of course, I do love how whenever Trump writes, he still sounds like a 12-year-old girl. It still kind of makes me laugh, but whatever. I am not happy with the Russian strikes on Kyiv. Not necessary and very bad timing. I mean, what grown man talks like this? I am not happy with the Russian strikes on Kyiv. Not necessary and very bad timing. Vladimir, stop! Exclamation point. 5,000 soldiers a week are dying. Let's get the peace deal done. But I mean, I'm not happy with the Russian strikes on Kyiv. Not necessary and very bad timing. Vladimir, stop. Okay, whatever. But again, good that he actually blamed Putin for one thing in his life. That was pretty good. Hey, at least he blamed Putin. I mean, it's weak, but he blamed Putin. Now, he's been beating up Zelensky for years, siding with Russia for years. But, I'll give him credit for at least once criticizing Putin, even though yesterday Trump wrote this much attacking Zelensky. Today he wrote this much telling Putin to stop, this much about Zelensky yesterday. So, there's that. But considering Trump is always this attacking Ukraine, him saying even two sentences is still impressive, I have no idea what you're even talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about, Pascal. Je parle bien français, mais je comprends rien que t'écris. So I'm sorry. I have no idea what you're talking about. Sorry, somebody's giving us some information in French on, I'm guessing troll, just because it makes no sense to me. Not troll, but it makes no sense what he wrote. André, t'es d'accord? C'est un troll? I'll use your remplacement terçon. Oh, okay, whatever. But I mean, I'm not really quite sure what's going on with Jerusalem, to be honest, but that's fine. I'm not going to assume troll yet, but it's borderline. Let's keep going here. So in a similar tone to Trump's Truth Social post, Trump said he wasn't happy with Russia's attack on Kyiv overnight. We're putting a lot of, this was great. We're putting a lot of pressure on Russia. Thank you, Grummy. Ouais, je parle français, c'est vrai. But we'll do that later. We're putting a lot of pressure on Russia, Trump said, before saying it takes two to tango. You have to have Ukraine want to make a deal too. They're being hit very hard, and I do believe they want to make a deal. So now Trump is saying, now we want Ukraine to, give them one more chance, whoever's moderating over there on YouTube, and then if it keeps up, zing them. Now Trump is saying, I really believe Ukraine wants peace. Yesterday, he was all over Ukraine's ass. So, Trump with this stuff. I mean, this was a weird line from Fox News, Sky News today. I could not confirm this anywhere. I Googled all over the web for this and couldn't confirm it anywhere. Seems like a big deal. Exactly, Amanda. Again, I like to give people a chance because that's what I mean. It doesn't exactly, James. There's something very weird. It looks like somebody posted a piece from a dictionary or encyclopedia or something. It's a little weird. And once André said it looked trolly in French, I'm willing to believe André. Because somebody, again, a francophone is going to have a much better sense of the nuance. But am I right? It looks like a dictionary or a encyclopedia entry. So listen to this. This is from Sky News. Even Russia's supporter in the war, China, has problems with it, with Trump's in particular. Oh, sorry. Okay. Out of context. Sky News is referring to China has a problem with the peace deal that Trump is proposing. Trump's peace deal gives Crimea to Russia, and at least the U.S. recognizes Crimea as part of Russia. That's the territory the Russians stole from Ukraine in 2014. At least initially, it looked like Trump wanted Ukraine to acknowledge that Crimea was Russian, and the Ukrainians said, no, it's a violation of our constitution. Also, they stole that land from us. Why the hell would we say, oh, it's yours now? The Chinese apparently have a problem, according to Sky News, with Trump recognizing Crimea. It says, in particular, they have a problem with America's proposal that Russia is rewarded for its invasion with the sovereignty of Crimea. Now, the Chinese have opposed Russia taking over Crimea, but China also is the number one reason Russia is surviving in this war. I mean, North Korea too, but China, I'd still say it's a close tie. China maybe even more in a way. It's a little weird to me the Chinese would be opposing Russia getting Crimea. I just think that's fascinating. The thing is, though, I Googled the hell out of it, can't find it anywhere. I'm suspecting maybe they're referencing something earlier, because we do know that China has spoken out opposing Russia owning Crimea. So maybe they're Sky News is looking back at that. Kind of strange though. Interesting though, but strange. What else we got here? Oh, this I thought was interesting. There was a lot of Sky News stuff today. What Ukraine needs from the U.S. This was looking at what happens if basically they don't reach peace and the Trump walks, which we are all worried Trump might do because Trump doesn't care. Trump had promised, by the way. Trump had said, if Ukraine doesn't accept peace, I'm going to cut them off. If Russia doesn't accept peace, I'm going to give Ukraine 10 times as many weapons. Well, what happened was Trump has refused to hold Russia accountable. Russia has been zero on peace for the last couple of months that Trump's been in office. And Trump hasn't once threatened to give Ukraine more weapons at all. So whatever. But what Ukraine needs from the U.S., Sky News looked at what would happen if the U.S. cut off Ukraine. And they said, Ukraine's defense increasingly depends on a homegrown drone industry, which doesn't rely on the U.S. So basically, the drones is a big part of Ukraine's war effort. Ukraine's got its own drone now. It's a lot of foreign drones, but a lot of homegrown stuff. Doesn't need the U.S. Ukraine does need U.S. intelligence, aerial defense support, and satellite coverage provided by Starlink. Were they to lose all of that, they could be in trouble. And let's face it, Elon, right? Elon, I could see cutting, well, Elon has cut Ukraine before from Starlink. We know that. And I could see Elon doing it absolutely positively, which would not be good. Finally, this was kind of a funny, there was a story in Politico today. We just don't have a lot of news today. Story in Politico today that was kind of like, oh my God. And then it was also like, duh. Politico, the White House is debating whether to lift sanctions on Russia's Nord Stream 2 natural gas pipeline and potentially other Russian assets in Europe as part of discussions on ending the war between Russia and Ukraine, 5 people told Politico. Here's the thing. Duh, right? That Donald Trump is going to lift the sanctions on Putin. He's not just going to lift the natural gas sanctions on Putin. Trump is going to list every sanction on Putin. We know that, this is not news, right? I kind of laugh because you read the article and you go, oh my God, he's talking about lifting the gas sanctions. We all know what's going to happen. Trump is going to get rid of every single sanction on Putin. It doesn't matter what Putin does or doesn't agree to. He's going to lift every sanction he can. So yeah, I read a story like that and I kind of go, yeah, like as we say in English, no shit, Sherlock, right? Really? Adjusting my camera again so I can sit down and relax a little bit now. But it's like, really? You think Trump is going to lift sanctions on Russia? Really? What a quelle surprise, right? Anyway. But correct. Who would use Nord Stream is an interesting question since the natural gas was, I believe, going to Germany. Oh, cool. Oh, cool flowers. Thank you, Annie. Oh, those were cool. I don't know that I've seen that before, the bouquet. That was cute. Thank you for that. It was also very cool. Like the coming together was like, oh, what is that? Very cute. Thank you for that. Anyway. Oh, la, 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 la. So let's talk. Oh. What was that? Oh, that was the rising key. Okay. I was like, that was interesting too. Thank you for that. So anyway, guys, hello, I'm here. Let's chat. Let me adjust my camera so I can sit back a little bit better. But let's hang. There we go. Actually, I can even move you closer. There we go. So yes. Let's talk about whatever. This is what we do. We've got the show Saturday morning. Remember our coffee talk show, Coffee Talk for the TikTokers. We hang out just for the paid monthly subscribers. So join me. Adjusting you. Can I even? Oh my God! Don't break on me. I just bought you. Don't do that. I was trying to adjust my camera down, and it kind of went. Not the camera, but the arm went. That was a little scary. What about Africa? What are they trying to do? Who trying to do? The Russians, the Chinese are trying to take it over, but we're not, clearly. Do you think China will invade Russia? No. Sounds fun, but no. If Russia were falling apart at the seams, China might invade and grab some land. Literally, Russia falls apart completely. Thank you, Hannah, for the gifts. Canadian elections, I don't have much to add. You guys said they're coming up next Monday or something, right? The Liberals are doing better, which is great. In general, because I don't want MAGA people winning. or MAGA friendly people. But other than that, I don't really know the details of internal Canadian politics enough. You know what I mean? I care about the MAGA thing. So I don't want somebody elected who's going to be like close to Trump. But beyond that, I don't know. I've never understood the internal Canadian politics enough to know the left and the right. You know, thank you, Chase. But you know what I mean? Like to know, was Trudeau, because I have like a good friend who lives there that says Trudeau was doing a bad job. Like, I don't know. We don't get that kind of, in any country, we don't get that detail. We don't get it about France. We don't get it about England, right? We don't get like details of the day-to-day life of what their politics are. We see it on the international front, vis-a-vis America, vis-a-vis Ukraine, that kind of stuff, you know, foreign policy, really. And occasionally economic policy if it's a disaster, like Theresa May or whoever it was. Wasn't she the one who did that, I think? Stock market today was, it went up. I don't know how much, though. It went up. I can't tell how much. This is stupid because my Mac gives me, it's really stupid. My Mac is giving me the, here we go, the update, but as a raw number, not as percentage. Oh, it did okay today. The S&P 500 went up 2%. Total stock index went up 2%. That's good. Okay, that's good. NASDAQ went up 2.74. That's good. Okay, well, that was good. No, stocks did well today, but I think they're going to be in for a little bit of a surprise. They're doing better based on sort of false promises from Trump, and that worries me a little bit. You know, my point is that nothing's changed. Trump has not eliminated any of the tariffs, right? Thank you, Shorty, Randy, Giddy. You know, but he hasn't gotten rid of any of the tariffs. So they're acting like, oh, the tariff thing is better now. The tariff thing is not better now. So let's see. I mean, this is why I said earlier, like, I think the stock market goes, woo, 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 like a big roller coaster, panic buying and panic selling. You know, they're, you know, now they're so, that was, thank you, Carrie, for the kitten. Keep good gifts coming, guys. I always have to give the gift pitch, but I do this for a living. I do it full time. Nobody pays the bills other than you guys. So thank you for your support. Well, that's the other question. Championess just said drop 20% and going up 2 to 5%. Correct. The stock market is still down significantly because of Trump's tariffs. So it's come back a little bit, but it's still down significantly. And as I said, the tariffs haven't gone away. So I'm kind of waiting for the stock market to figure out that things, like, nothing's changed, you know? Thank you, Jocelyn, for the cap. Thank you, Maeve. Oh, God. Casual Penguin says Trump Jr. is apparently coming to Eastern Europe. Visit to Bulgaria. Oh, that's interesting. I will open it up and read it later. I have a way around the paywall. I'll read it later. But yeah, that's interesting. Interesting. Didn't know he was going there. Well, and they may be manipulating the stock market. That might be what's going on. Just be like, inject a little positivity. Oh, I happen to buy stocks. Who knew? Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? Thank you, Jens. Jens gave a gift membership that went to CJ. CJ, you've got a 1-month gift membership courtesy of Jens over on YouTube. So join us Saturday morning if you're around, 11 a.m. Eastern. Stock market, the only problem is, no idea. Stock market is no longer the rich people happiness index. 60% of Americans own stocks. 60%. So it's no longer just rich people. A lot of us have stocks because that's our retirement. So now 40% do not, but 60% gets you well beyond rich people. You know? Do you not have? Oh, dog wants more water. Fine. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Big Hawk. I just caught the octopus. All right. It's a little early for you to be begging for water, just so you know. There you go. All right. Sasha my dog was doing what I call her silent scream, where she goes to the water bowl and goes, she's like the smartest dog, the smartest and most evocative dog on the planet. Like, it's her way of saying, like, stress, come on. It's very funny. But yes, some of our government employees pensions, but a lot of us do not. But 60% of Americans are in the stock market. Yeah. So like I said, it's no longer just rich people. A Sasha break. Exactly. I need music, except I can't have music because YouTube would be fine with it. TikTok would get upset having music for the stock break or for the break. 60% include for it. That would include 401ks. It would have to. Yeah. I would think. I mean, that's the whole point. Having stocks in your 401k, you have stocks or mutual funds or whatever, but I say stocks as a generic term, Anyway, what else, guys? What else? So yeah, we can talk about any of the news. That's what we're here to do. Talk the news. Cheers, David. With some flag I don't recognize, but it makes me think Scandinavia, maybe. I don't know. You Europeans are funny with your flags. You all know each other's flags, and it drives me. It's not your fault, but it drives me nuts because Europeans will always use flags to indicate their countries, and for Americans, we're always like, I don't know what the F flag that is. England? Oh, that's funny. That's England? I didn't know England. I guess England has a flag. It figures England has a flag. You people are so weird. Like that's something that always drove us crazy. It was like England, UK, Great Britain. Does Great Britain have a flag too? I'm going to guess. I know the UK flag. The Union Jack. I thought the Union Jack is the United Kingdom. The Union Jack is Great Britain? You people are so weird. Union Jack is United Kingdom. Thank you for the gift there, Angeline. Yes and no is not an answer. That doesn't tell me anything. Use your words. Don't say yes or no. We don't know what you're referring to. Union Jack is UK. Okay. So does Great Britain have a flag too? Does Great Britain have a flag too or no? Union Jack is the Scottish and English flag laid over each other. Oh, that's funky. Is that true? Scottish and English? Okay. Oh, that's funky if that's true. Others are Jono saying no. And Wales? I don't know. That's interesting. Wales, England, and Scottish. I was going to say Wales is there too. Oh, German. Let's not go. Germany goes, isn't UK and Great Britain the same? Oh, no. Oh, no. They have to make it difficult. Trust me. This is something that has been confusing as hell to Americans for years because they've got like 3 different names for themselves. When I was growing up, we referred to it as England. It was always the Queen of England. She's the Queen of England. She's not the Queen of the UK or the Queen of Great Britain. We would never say that. Here we say the Queen of England. I guess you don't say that anymore, I guess. But the same way Netherlands was Holland when I was growing up. Even 20 years ago, it was Holland. But UK and Great Britain are different. And England, of course, is very different, so to speak. Very, very confusing. Great. Oh, don't even. Great Britain is an island. UK is a country. Islands can be countries. Ireland isn't in any of them. Northern Ireland is. Ireland isn't in any of them. Ireland's an independent country. Northern Ireland is different. Right. Great Britain and Northern Ireland. So the difference between Great Britain and the UK is Northern Ireland is in the UK, right? And Great Britain is Wales, England, Scotland, I'm going to guess. Right? Am I right here? It's terrible. CST saying the same thing. You people, you need to figure it out. Because it's as if you're different countries, but you're the same country. It's very confusing. Well, Americans don't care enough, but we also don't understand enough. It never makes sense here. I know the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Yes, which is kind of a bad name too, really. It's a bit. So like some of the Germans would do. United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Although that sounded like Swedish, but you know what I mean. Those long German words that go on forever. Although you have them in Welsh too, I guess, right? Isn't that famous long word Welsh? The crazy town with the long name. I think it's Welsh, isn't it? I know that. Well, I was kind of doing fruity. That was more like I need to watch What's Her Face, the comedian, and get my my German accent down. So, It's Welsh is that crazy long town that's like 4 lines long or whatever, right? Anyway, anyway, it's in North Wales. Okay, it is Welsh. All right. Anyway, Alexa, lower the temperature 1 degree. Sorry, guys. It's just a little warm. I meant to put on my fan because it's with the sun coming in, it gets very warm here. Hold on. Where's my fan? There's my fan. At least put my fan on. That will help a little bit here. One moment. One moment. Ooh, la, 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 la. Ooh, did not. There we go. That's a little better. Yeah, it's definitely a little warm in here. Start. All right. Okay, that's better. Because the sun comes in. Oh, there you go. John's got it. Lanfair, Rob Williams, Cilio, yeah, so much of that is unreadable. there's a lot in the middle that unless you know the phonetics, you're never going to get right. Although Rob William is easy to read. Rob Willem. See, you guys call it. Martin says the Germans call it Holland too. We used to always call it Holland. Was what the country was called for us. Czech? No, Czech. I wouldn't even know how to read Czech. No. Great Britain was named by the Romans and roughly translated to Big Island. Gran C. Britain. Britannia would be an island? Huh. I don't know. I mean, I know it in Latin, in Russian, in Italian, what Isola, but I don't know. Is there a bigger word for island? Like that's like in Latin? Interesting. Anyway. Oh, okay. There you go. Craig says not true. British means the painted people in Latin. That's what I was going to say. Like, because Latin, I don't know Latin, but I'm assuming it's got to be, I would think Latin island might be closer to Isola, like modern Italian. Britain means painted people. Brita. I don't know what that Italian, yeah. But again, it could be a Latin word that I'm not familiar with. And Brittany, northern France, we know that, yes. Boudica, I've seen that, but you have Ireland and Northern Ireland. Britons were a people. Romania was considered a new Rome. Where did that come from, Joe? That Romania was like, wow, and then Joe suddenly decided to give us a lecture about Romania. I'm not sure how that came in, but okay. Update on the auctions someday. Yes, I promise. Why would Italy going to Italy? Oh, Italy with the Pope. That's true. Yeah, I was going to say Italy's. A friend of mine's going to Italy this week. I was like, oh God. I warned him. I said, I just got to tell you, the tourist thing was already bad because of the Jubilee with the Pope thing. Would not be looking forward to that. Or are there no flights available? Really? Well, they already had theirs because they would have gotten it before. But let me look here. They would have gotten their flights already because they're flying this week. But it's just going to be a zoo with all the tourists and the faithful and everything else. Let me see here. Let's see here. All right. The name Great Britain primarily refers, we know that, the great part comes from this is the AI, so who knows if it's true, but Google's AI, thank you for the gift. Was it Marsha? The AI says the great part comes from the French distinction between the island of Great Britain, La Grande Bretagne, and the smaller French region of Brittany, Bretagne. Oh, that's funny. The name Britain itself. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. The Romans called you Britain. The French called you Great Britain to mark the difference between you and Brittany. So Brittany was Brittany and you were Great Brittany, so to speak. So the French were the ones that called you Grand. Grande, sorry, feminine. The name Britain itself derives from the Roman name for island, Britannia. Okay. Actually, Craig, I got to tell you, or whoever it was who said no, this is at least saying that Latin, the name Britain comes from the Latin term Britannia, which the Romans used to refer to the island. Huh. Yep. The term Great Britain was first officially used in 1474 and gained prominence when King James I of Scotland also became King James I of England, wanting to be referred to as the King of Great Britain. Today, Great Britain refers to the island itself, not the political entity of the UK. Of course, the UK includes Great Britain. We know, confusing. Albion was something that I only recently learned. I thought that was interesting. Had never heard of that. That was something like the Brits, thank you. Who's the cake from? Thank you, Date Tonic. But that was something that the Brits call them, like, I don't know if it's sort of a poetic name for the island or something, Albion. Let me look a little bit here on the Great Britain thing. Painted People. Okay, the Painted People is coming up here, though. This is from, well, a British website. The earliest recorded place names for the group of islands off the north... one second here. Hold on. We owe the name of Britain to Pytheas of Massalia, a Greek explorer from present-day Marseille, who traveled to Britain in around 325 BC and recorded the local names of the place he visited. Unfortunately, Pytheas' writings do not survive, but they were widely used as a source by other ancient desk-bound geographers. In classical Greek, who recorded one of the island's names as Britannica, with a P, Britannica. In classical Greek and Latin texts, the P often turned to a B, becoming Britannia. But the original Greek P spelling was a rendering of a local Celtic name for either a people living on the island or for the land itself. These are some islands off of Britain or whatever, or part of Britain, but you know what I mean, off of the mainland. Unclear what it's Britanni, from which it came from, was a Celtic word that most likely meant the painted people. Oh, there you go. Interesting. And then Albion is its own name. Albion predates Britannica. Interesting. Okay. So it was Roman and Greek, but it was something before Roman and Greek. The Romans and Greeks, well, I should say the Roman and Greeks came up with Britannia, but Britannia preceded the Romans and Greeks too, if that article is correct. That's interesting. I don't want to get too geeky here. We're gonna lose a lot of TikTokers here getting into the reads on the meaning here. The Romans never conquered Scotland. Is that true? They didn't get that far up. What job did I have at the UN? I was the head of the online team at UNDP, a horrific organization that no one should give a dime to. The Romans named Germania. See. Call your husband British. That would be good. British. Interesting. Okay. But did the Danes or whoever the hell they were, the Vikings, did they get Scotland? Or was it the same thing because of the mountains and stuff they couldn't? Is UNDP corrupt? In some ways, yes. There are a lot of corrupt people there. And it's full of lazy, privileged people who don't want to work. But it's also full of a lot of corrupt people. Yes, it is. Nobody should give them a dime. Nobody should give any UN agency a dime. It's a horrific organization. An organization that was a nice idea, and it's a horrific organization. So sadly. But yes, so my question was whether the Vikings ever conquered Scotland. Was that a yes or a no? I did watch The Last Kingdom, but they didn't really mention Scotland. They mentioned those, 5 city-states you guys had, Mercia and everybody else. Was it Essex or Sussex or whatever the hell it was called? But I don't remember what happened. They did get Scotland. Okay. That I didn't recall, like how far up they went. Some of the Scottish islands. Okay. A lot of Scots are Viking descendants? Really? Oh, that's interesting. Huh. So Callum's a Viking? That would explain a lot. He certainly has more Viking in him than modern Scandinavian. I will say I find the Viking thing fascinating though, because I watched all the Viking TV shows, And it's kind of wild watching it and going like, these people turned into Scandinavians. Like, what the hell? Like, I mean, how did you get from Vikings, like pillage and death and murder and everything else, to like some of the more proper people of Europe, shall we say, in the north? It's just like, you'd think the Vikings would be like Greeks and Italians. You know what I mean? It just seems weird that you became proper. I just find that funny. I did. Whenever I watch those TV shows, I was like, what the hell? Like, how did this become that? You know? Yeah, right. You got it out of your system. Exactly. It's weird. You know? Right. Who avoid war. That's true too. Right. Definitely kind of war averse. Well, the Swedes, certainly. Kind of war averse, right? It's very interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Northern Germany and Denmark. That's Anglo-Saxona or Saxon. Yeah, exactly. Pete Zach, you know, PT Zach, you kind of, yeah, exactly. You go work in an organization, learn how the sausage isn't even made at the UN. Just useless. Yeah, India and Pakistan. I know there was a terrorist attack in northern India. I'm not a big expert on this, but they're kind of blaming on the Pakistanis, and the Pakistanis are saying, "Don't you dare!" And it's hurting already tense relations between the two countries. Terrorist attack on tourists, which was particularly bad. I mean, just because like innocent civilians, although terrorist attacks often are innocent civilians. But yeah. Oh, The Last Kingdom has a book. I didn't know that, Andy. That's interesting. I did like the TV shows. Oh, exactly. Yeah. Actually, it did happen when J.D. Vance was there, I think it did, actually. He wasn't in the region, but everybody was sort of talking about how he's kind of bad luck, it seems, lately visiting these places. Have you seen me in a movie? I wish. You have not seen me in a movie. No. I would have loved that. That would have been a fun career, but alas, not so much. Who's stronger, India or Pakistan? I'm going to assume India because they're bigger. Pakistan, well, both of them have nuclear weapons, so it's kind of fascinating. I'm going to assume India, but I don't know. Just because India is so much bigger, you know. But I don't know. Well, often when I think of Pakistan, I think of the Air Force and stuff. So I don't know. Meaning how lopsided things are. Some of the military folks would have to tell us. Again, I can ask ChatGPT, but it lies. But let's ask it just for fun. Let's ask it anyway. Again, our little ChatGPT. Let's see. Yes, India has a lot more people, but let's see. Who is militarily more powerful, Pakistan or India? Let's at least see what analysis it gives. I'm assuming India. India is significantly more powerful than Pakistan in terms of military strength. India, 1.45 million active personnel. Pakistan, 654,000 active personnel. Oh, that's interesting. Advantage India. Defense budget. India, 75 billion. Pakistan, 10 billion. Wow. Nuclear arsenal, the same. 160 to 170 nuclear warheads. Roughly the same. India has a stronger delivery system. Air power, India has 2,200 aircraft, Pakistan 1,400 aircraft. Advantage India in quality and quantity. Naval, wow. India, 1 aircraft carrier, 10 destroyers, 17 submarines. Wow. 13 frigates. Pakistan, no aircraft carriers, 9 frigates, 8 submarines, no destroyers. Missile systems, India. Global influence and allies, India. Interesting. Now, that's true, actually. India does have, when you think of global influence, you think of India, you don't think of Pakistan. Pakistan is not this sort of global power like India is. You know what I mean? Pakistan's like an after. Like, economically, you don't think of Pakistan. You think of India, right? That's interesting, yeah. But the military side, that's what I was wondering about. I know India has more people, but I was wondering in terms of weapons and everything. But who knows? Relative wealth, although I don't think of Pakistan having a lot of wealth anyway. Actually, what's the relative wealth of the two countries? How's that for a question? Let's see about that. What is the relative wealth of the two countries in terms of GDP per capita, but also overall GDP. All right, let's see. Total GDP, total size of the economy. India, 3.7 trillion. Pakistan, 340 billion. Wow. So India's economy is 10 times bigger. Okay. GDP per capita, which is a way of looking at economic development, I guess, the size of the economy based on the number of people. So it tells you like how rich is the country, so to speak. India, 2,600 GDP per capita. Pakistan, 1,500 GDP per capita. That's 40% less. So India's average citizen is wealthier than Pakistan's by a good margin. Interesting. Okay, that's very interesting. Hold on. Yes, do the other metrics as well. It was going to look at economic metrics for me as well. All right. Poverty rate. India, 10 to 15%. Pakistan, 35 to 40%. Wow. Unemployment rate. India, 7.5%. Pakistan, 8 to 9. That's pretty close. Income inequality, 0 being perfectly equal, 100 being really bad. India, 35.7, Pakistan, 31.6. So Pakistan is a little better in terms of income inequality. Not hugely better, but better. Human Development Index, which gets you to life expectancy, education, income. India ranks 132 out of 191. Pakistan's 161 of 199. Pakistan is significantly less developed. India is still very underdeveloped. Pakistan is significantly less developed than India. Literacy rate, wow. India, 77%. Pakistan, 58%. Wow. That surprises me. Wow. Inflation, India, 5.5%. Pakistan, 25 to 30% due to a recent economic crisis, but that's still horrible. Thank you for the gift there. Who's that from? Ashley. Thank you, darling. How interesting. I was not up on all of this. How interesting. Wow. Huh. Wow. Yeah, that sucks, Gunther. Interesting. Okay, did not know that. Wow. Very interesting. Yeah. Huh. All right, well, now we all learned a little something about India and Pakistan. Okay. I mean, I guess I would have thought India might have the advantage, but I also was thinking Pakistan's small. Could it be wealthier? Maybe, except you don't hear about Pakistan and money. You don't hear about Pakistan and the economy. You hear about India's economy, but you also hear about a lot of wealth disparity in India. So it's interesting to hear that, well, right, Pakistan's wealth disparity is a little less. But Al Gore, did Al Gore give a speech? I did not hear it if he did, or hear about it even. Don't know if the U.S. is training troops for Ukraine. Don't know what they're basing it all on, CST. I don't know. Close allies? What do you mean? What's your question? Could the U.S. military rise up against Hegseth? No. Will they rise up against Trump? Maybe. Well, it depends what you mean by rise up. The U.S. military is a very strong institution so that they could rise up against Hegseth in the sense of being a pain in the ass for him. They're not going to overthrow him, but they could be a pain in the ass if they think he's doing bad things. They also could be a pain in the ass for Trump if they think he's doing bad things. They also could be a real problem for Trump if they think Trump is doing illegal things. Will they? Right? Depends if he gets enough of his generals, but who knows? If Trump goes too far, would the U.S. military rise up? I don't know. Hegseth resigning? Not yet. It seems like Trump has told him you can hang in there, but he's still on thin ice, I think. Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, because things have been so screwed up there. And now he's in trouble because the story got out. He spent like $6,000 building a makeup studio off of some area so he could look prettier on TV. And they were like, and the original plan was to spend $50,000 on the makeup studio, and he only spent $6,000. But they were like, nobody else needed a makeup. Again, pretty boy. Nobody else needed a makeup studio, but now you needed it. I mean, amazing, absolutely amazing. But that's who these guys are. These are people who don't believe in our military. They don't believe in our national defense. They don't believe in standing up to our enemies. They don't believe in defending our allies. They believe in spending money on makeup studios. Okay. Oh, well. What else? B-52s and Diego Garcia. What's going on with them? I mean, they've been there. I don't know what's up with them lately. Ukraine should not give up its territory. I agree. What else, guys? Thank you, Chuck, for sharing the live. I'm tired again, guys. I shouldn't be as tired today, but I am. Iran, not sure what's going on later. I mean, Iran is negotiating with the U.S. over the nuclear stuff. It'd be nice if something, could be worked out. Thank you for the coffee, Magic Luis. Thank you, User336 as well. Good to see you for sharing the live. Thank you, CST. Well, I don't see everybody's questions, but things are going a little slow today, so it's easier to see your questions. And you're over on Discord, so you're always fewer people anyway, so it makes it a little easier. New recipes. I don't have any recommendations for new recipes. I have many new recipes saved. I always go I told you my Instagram has finally figured me out really well. So Instagram, I get lots of food channels, lots of Italian channels, lots of French channels. I'm getting more Greek, which is making me very excited. But I love that Instagram finally figured out I speak Greek and Italian and French because I like watching those. It hasn't figured out that I speak Spanish yet, but the other ones have been kind of fun. So I get a lot of fun Italians and stuff. It's actually really good. I mean, you don't get to speak, but you actually get to, if you're into languages, you actually get to hear stuff. It's fun. But a lot of good cooking. I got a lot of the good Italian cooking channels as well on Instagram. I got to say, Instagram's always impressed me. I've always thought Instagram's algorithm was better than TikTok's, to be honest. I just think they do a better job, but anyway, what's the literacy rate in the US? Hey, Google, what is the literacy rate in the US?
79% on the website.
79%. But I don't know what that means.
79% of US adults nationwide are illiterate in 2024. 21% of adults in the US are illiterate in 2024.
Obviously.
54% of adults have a literacy below a 6th grade level.
Oh, well, then it gets even worse. 79%, but I don't know what that means on a worldwide level. Hey, Google, how does the US rank internationally in terms of literacy?
Sorry, I don't understand.
Didn't like that. Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. 79% might not be it might not be very good, actually. How does the US rank internationally in terms of literacy? Let's see what ChatGPT says. A complex literacy landscape. Yeah, that probably means racial and poverty disparities. Wait, what? The U.S. boasts a basic literacy rate of approximately 99%, aligning with other developed nations like Sweden, Australia, and Germany. This figure represents the percentage of adults who can read and write at a fundamental level. Okay. International literacy rankings, the U.S. ranks lower in advanced literacy skills. We're 14th out of 31 countries in the OECD. Oh, that's bad. We're 14th out of 31 just in Europe, basically in North America. Some analyses place the U.S. at 36th globally. Wow. Wow. 28% of U.S. adults scored at the lowest literacy levels. Only 13% achieved high proficiency levels. But again, I don't know what that means, compared to everybody else. Several factors contribute. Disparities in education quality across regions and socioeconomic groups. Wealthier people are more educated. Different regions are more educated. Got news for you. Take a guess which regions are more educated. I'm not going to get into it, but you can guess. Interesting. That's kind of hard to figure out what that means then. I don't know what that means as far as trying to understand that analysis is a little confusing, so, anyway, very interesting. U.S. strikes on Yemen? No idea. I don't think they're not going to tell us. So I have no problem with U.S. strikes on Yemen. We probably need a lot more strikes on Yemen if they work. That's the question, but Yemen certainly deserves to be struck. Why so much crime in Atlanta? Because America is a violent nation. We've had crime everywhere, and there's a lot of violence everywhere. sadly. For example, a bunch of people decided to try to overthrow our government a few years ago, and then they were all pardoned. So we have a lot of violence. A lot of people believe violent people should get guns and not have it restricted. And then when they commit the violence, we get them off the hook. So yes, there is a lot of violence in Atlanta and everywhere else in this country, but it ain't my fault. Anyway, what did Yemen do wrong? International terrorist state, bombing international shipping on a daily basis. For starters, yeah, that's what they did wrong. They're terrorists. Anyway, what else? Like Mel Gibson. How did Mel Gibson come to this conversation? Taiwan news. Taiwan has not been in the news at all. Not at all, actually. I don't know. So I don't know what's up with that. No news at all about Taiwan. So, anyway. Has Elon left yet? I don't know. The problem is, like I said, Elon's not going to be able to give up completely. So he's talking about getting back and focusing. Oh, thank you for the chocolate bar. Is it Luis? Thank you. He's talking about going back and focusing on Tesla because Tesla's a disaster now and not doing as much of his Doge stuff. But then he said, but he's still going to do Doge stuff. So everyone was like, well, then what are you doing? So I guess then we're going to keep boycotting Tesla. Although, honestly, at this point, it's not even a matter of boycotting Tesla. Tesla has to get rid of Elon and make amends. Thank you, Jean-Marc, it's getting cut off. Tesla has to get rid of Elon and make amends if it thinks any of us are going to ever touch their cars again. Most evil company in the world right now, I would argue. No, there's still stuff to boycott with Tesla. You just keep reminding people it's an awful company. I mean, that's what you need to keep doing. The news, because also good luck. Companies don't come back from things like this. I mean, Volkswagen did after 80 years, right? But you don't come back from something like this. On the left, Domino's Pizza, people still don't. I mean, I've bought Domino's Pizza. It's not the same company anymore, but it's still Domino's. It's still kind of, you get a bad taste in your mouth because they used to be terribly evil. Cracker Barrel. Everyone loves Cracker Barrel. I'd go, again, not the same company, I guess, but Cracker Barrel makes me go, ugh. Horrifically homophobic company, they were. Papa John's, horrifically MAGA-esque Papa John's. So, yeah, and he may still be there. Is Papa John's guy still there? Domino's was terrible 30 years ago. Big right-wing company. Hobby Lobby, still right-wing, correct. Well, Volkswagen kind of helped, the bad guys in World War II in Germany. As I recall, they kind of were close to the government, shall we say. I think they were weren't they the German war machine, Volkswagen? I'm pretty sure. I'm not. And Hugo, oh my God, Hugo Boss. That's right. Hugo Boss designed the uniforms. Yeah. Hugo, I love Hugo Boss. I used to have Hugo Boss suits. I love Hugo. I used to get my Hugo Boss suits in Paris for cheap. BMW too, but Hugo Boss designed the outfits. I mean, it was oh boy. Yeah, Chick-fil-A. That's another one. Exactly. So yeah. But again, I'm not going to hold them responsible for today as long as they don't still believe that stuff, So exactly, the Volkswagen, the Beetle, Chipotle. What's wrong with Chipotle? I don't remember what's wrong with Chipotle. Yeah, Domino's cleaned up its act. I actually did try Chick-fil-A. I tried. It was okay. I didn't love it years ago. Papa John's, I would never try. I would never taste would never try Papa John's. Yeah, but Tommy Hilfiger was the one that didn't do anything wrong. Remember, Gunther? Tommy Hilfiger was the one where they lied about it, and all the African Americans believed the lie about Tommy Hilfiger. Remember, it was about Oprah or something crazy, and everyone fell for it. It wasn't true. So You worked at Papa John's as a temp. I mean, what do you do? A job's a job, but oh, you fell for it. Yeah. There was a urban legend in the 1990s that that Tommy Hilfiger went on Oprah Winfrey and said, "I would never sell clothes to black people." First, I mean, like Tommy Hilfiger's going to say that. B, like he's going to say it to Oprah Winfrey, who's probably the most famous black woman in America, and well, she might be tied with Michelle Obama. And also, I'd say tie with Barack Obama as the most famous black person in America, probably too. Oprah Winfrey's huge. But that he supposedly went on a show and said, "I'd never sell to those people." And it was like, no, he didn't. And it was a total lie. I think even Oprah came out and finally said it wasn't true. But everyone believed it. And black people especially believed it. Yeah. That was it. P1, I don't design clothes for them. I won't design clothes for those people. Something like that. Yeah. And it was totally, you even fell for it. Gunther still fell for it today, 30 years later. Yeah. Yeah. So, that's funny. I thought that's what you were talking about. The other ones I don't know, Gunther, that you're talking about. I really don't. Thank you, Milko, for the gift. Ben and Jerry's. Yeah, except Ben and Jerry's is like anti-Ukraine. No one's perfect, clearly. Ben and Jerry's is, kind of far left crazy. But yeah, they're bad on Ukraine for starters because they don't want war, even if it means helping Russia. Actually, they have very good ice cream. I'll put it, their politics is way to the far left of mine to the point of being very uncomfortable. But they do make good ice cream. I'll give them that. So, but it's bad for you. Of course, it's bad for you. You're eating cream, but it's good. Very chocolate fudge brownie is my favorite. A little bit melted, just slightly melted. Nummy, nummy, nummy. Oh, it's not owned by them anymore? I didn't remember that. They sold it. Thank you, Maxime. Appreciate the glasses. But I didn't remember that they were sold. I guess I should have remembered that. Oh, there's an app to tell you the company of party affiliations. That's a good idea, I guess. The 90s. Yeah, I missed the 90s. Just had some Ben and Jerry's. I think I still have some in the freezer. I mean, I try not to have it too often because, don't want to be putting on too much weight, but it is very good. Ben and Jerry's is pretty good. I love gelato, but, good luck. I live in America, so. I mean, there's that Lou Willin's place, but I'm not going to pay $10 for a scoop of ice cream. That's ridiculous, or whatever the hell they charge. Thank you, Eddie. Something obscene. Was it $10? It's something ridiculous for a scoop of ice cream. And I was like that's ever going to happen. Somehow late in Washington in the last 15 years, the price of ice cream, but ice cream you buy on the street went through the roof. Like ice cream you buy to take out. And I'm like, in Paris, I could still get it crazy cheap. I'm not paying $10 for a scoop of ice cream in this stupid country. Not to mention it's American ice cream. New York, $10 to $14 a scoop. Oh my God. Amarino's was fat. I loved Amarino's. That was my favorite place in Paris. And they have a place in New York that I went to. It was very good. They give bigger servings in Paris if you go to the right person. But we used to go to the one in Montparnasse and then the one in at the Panthéon. It was very nice. Why pay? Because I'm fabulous. I'm cute. I'm hot. I'm funny. I'm interesting. That's also why you should buy me gifts. And $6.20, $6.99. Thank you very much. $6.20. Smoking hot. Exactly. Thank you, user 995. Smoking hot. You got your shots today? Gross, Robert. And single. Exactly. And single. Anyway. No, somebody was complaining. Why should I subscribe to you? That's why I said that. I'm still getting those crazy things on Instagram is actually, was it TikTok or Instagram? Now I'm forgetting if it was maybe it was TikTok. I think it was TikTok. I can't remember which one. Thank you, Flower Lady, for the bouquet. It was either TikTok or Instagram, but I'm getting all of these busty ladies messaging me, and literally it's so obvious because the pictures are right, and then they send me a message, and I'm always like, "Hi, gay," and of course it's an AI, and the AI is like, and then it starts to pitch me on investment stuff, and I'm like, "Gay." The shirt isn't working on me. Gay. and then usually then I get then I finally get a woman who laughs, and I'm like, okay, then I appreciated the one laughing. That was worth it. At least I was like, okay, that was good. But it's like, guys, you're hitting the wrong target audience here if you're trying to get me on an investment scam. Yeah, the Elons are fun. We haven't had an Elon come here in a long time, have we, guys? Because there's all these fake Elon Musk trolls on TikTok, and I get them whenever I do a video about Elon. But we've gotten some of them here before on the live, but not. Have we gotten them in a while though? Ash or Amanda or anybody else? Marilyn or whatever I call you, Amanda. Oh, there's the crab. Thank you, Terry. I love that crab. I think the crab is so freaking weird. They need to have like a spider or something just to be really creepy. You know what I mean? The Elons are all over the DMs. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. But here we used to get the Madonna. That was it. Madonna, Melinda, whatever. But the, yeah, I don't remember. Was it with the Elons? Yeah. We have gotten them before in the lives. I remember that, but not often. But in the comments, they're pretty bad. We got an Elon a few days ago. Well, they're so good. Like, oh, thank you so much for liking my work, which is the other thing too, because they're going after Trumpers, which is kind of funny. So they keep going, oh, thank you. I appreciate that you like what I do. And it's always like, dude, it's like a post about the latest fascist thing you just did. Like there is nobody in this comment who likes what you do. So it's like, they're not even, it's the funniest damn things. It's the funniest damn things. Anyway. Oh, I see somebody's jealous in the comments about me having a law degree and a master's in speaking 5 languages and having worked around the world. I know, and being devilishly handsome. That would make me mad too, wouldn't it? Yes. So a troll was getting upset. No idea what the hell that meant. Oh, obviously a fake account. They're all fake accounts. Like, oh, some kind of new fake account thing. Okay. Anyway, hey, Hellian. Oh, hey, Hellian. Good to see you. I always remember your name because it's spelled funky. At least for the U.S., I think of your name. Are you Scandinavian or something? Just because I don't think of that as being an American name. English, I should say. English name. How do I learn so many languages? Practice. No, I mean, I don't know. I like them and I'm good at them. So, I studied Spanish since I was a kid. My mom tried to teach me Greek. It didn't work. I then went to Greece for 4 months and learned Greek. I went to France for a year, learned French. I fell in love with Italy, taught myself Italian pretty much. So, okay, that was impressive. But I studied the other languages really well. Again, I was there. Well, okay, I did kind of learn Greek in 4 months too. So fair enough. That was pretty good. I mean, I admit I'm good at languages, but each one was like studying kind of. But I do like them. But I mean, I think people can be. Yeah, I'm not a football. I'm much more of a language fan than a football fan. This is true. Not really a sports guy. This is true. Oof, I'm going to get the temperature going down again a degree. Your wife speaks French, Turkish, Russian, and a little bit of Spanish. Oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting mix. French, Turkish, and Russian. Huh. A language app? I mean, Duolingo's good. I'm trying to remember. What was the other one that I used that we talked about? Babbel, I think it was called, was pretty good. Duolingo's good. What I find was when you get, like, I'm pretty good at these languages. The apps are much less useful. And that bothers me. They're not as useful when you speak the language well. So that's a bit of a pain. So that's the problem. But I think if you actually, I'd almost have to ask you guys, anybody who's used Duolingo starting out, do you find it useful? I like it, but it's like I wanted to brush up on my French, even my Italian. My Italian was too good for the app in many ways, which I was surprised because my Italian's good, but it's not like French. My French and Spanish are excellent. And even for that, the apps were not good enough. ChatGPT isn't bad for languages. What would you actually do with it though? You probably can't buy enough prompts to go back and forth. I did learn more about English grammar in French than in English. That's true. Yes. Move forward to get to your level. I don't know. What does ChatGPT do? I don't understand. I thought Babbel was pretty interesting. I never paid for any of them, but I was tempted. But Babbel, I think Babbel was the one where they had actual videos of people speaking to you that was interesting. My name is, I would like 2 apples. How are you tonight? The problem is you're gonna run out of prompts or whatever. Like it's gonna get angry at you at ChatGPT. Even the paid version, you can only ask it so much. Yeah, I had tried. Honestly, Google. I have to say though, because like Russian, I was trying to. Well, I tried Ukrainian too hard because I know some Russian, so it was too confusing. I tried to brush up on my Russian. It was okay. I still, honestly, the more I think about it, the more I don't love Duolingo. I don't know what choice you have, you know? Oh, hi, Helion. Oh, that's funny. It's not your real name. That's funny. Okay. It's a good, I like the name though. Don't confuse me with real names because everyone will tell you here. It just, Poppy will tell you. It just gets too confusing. Hey, hi, Larry. Hilarious. That's cute. Oh, that's very cute. I like that. That's very funny. But ChatGPT for translation, really? Oh no, translating stuff. Yes, stuff, but not like words and sentences. Yeah. No, translating articles and stuff, it's fascinating. The problem is, as I learned, ChatGPT lies. Thank you, Marie, for subscribing. So you've got to be very careful because it lies. So when it does translations, it lies, as I found out in Greek. It misses stuff. It throws stuff in there. It translated an article for me and told me my like great grandfather's wife's name was something or other. And I was like, that's fascinating because nobody has records of women back then. Like in Greece, good luck. Your great grandmother, nobody knows her name in Greece. But ChatGPT translated from an article, and I went, I didn't say, my Greek is good enough that I was like, I went, wait a minute, where in the article it says his wife's name is so and so? No, it doesn't, Dave. And I'm like, okay, Hal, you just told me it did. Yes, I did say that. I was mistaken. So be very careful, and it misses stuff. You tell it to translate everything, it does not translate the entire article. It just doesn't. So you got to be very careful with ChatGPT. Google at least translate the whole article. It'll do a shitty job of it, but it'll translate the whole article. Not shitty, like in Greek, it'll do a shitty job. ChatGPT will do a beautiful job in Greek. It'll just lie and miss stuff. So it's kind of sad. Now, hopefully they figure that out with ChatGPT, because I got to tell you, I don't trust it entirely. See you, Poppy. Thanks for joining us. Like I said, I just don't trust it entirely. Jeffrey says Duolingo did help him before he went to Ukraine. Okay, that's good. Yeah, probably too, Street Rat. Yeah, as far as learning languages. Okay, Street Rat is saying it did help them with learning new languages, like learning Spanish. Interesting. Okay, interesting. Rosetta Stone, I've never used. I know of them, but I don't know anybody who's ever used them. Use AI to converse in different languages. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Babbler, one of them, has that. They have an AI you can converse with in writing, not in spoken. I like that idea of conversing in spoken. That'd be kind of fun. That would be kind of fun, actually. Oh, that's interesting. Where was that wandering chill that you got dropped in a town for 2 years and had to, and no one spoke English? That would be fascinating. That would be exhausting. I've never really been anywhere. Well, other than Africa, I'm trying to think if I've been anywhere where literally I didn't use English for a few days. I think when I was in Mali might have been the only time that happened to me, that quite literally I didn't use English for several days. But otherwise, I've never had that happen. I've never been anywhere where English didn't happen at all. London. When I was in London, that was true, actually. In London, I couldn't speak English with anybody. That was true. I did have that happen. But it's kind of fascinating when that happens. Yeah. Yeah. Mozambique. Oh, that's interesting. And Mozambique is Portuguese, right? I'm assuming. Am I wrong? I'm right? Yeah, Portuguese. It should be. Yeah, Portuguese and Makua. I don't know Makua. That's interesting. Oh, that's fascinating though. That'd be fun. That'd be fun though. That was like, well, even in Mali, in Bamako, the capital of Mali, there was no one to speak English with. In what got more difficult though is then I went to Ségou, which was the second town, and that was harder. Because the second biggest town in Mali, even the French It depended. You could speak French. There were like little kids spoke French, which was actually very entrepreneurial of them. Some of the little kids, because they would. I mean, stuff that would be weird here, but there they make money, and you literally get like a 7 or 8 year old child who becomes your guide. I'd say 8. I don't think these kids were. Maybe they were 9 or 10. I don't think they were much older than 8, but they were like your guide. And it was weird, but it's what happens in Africa, and they show you around, and you obviously pay them and give them money for it. And it's a little weird, but at the same time, you're helping this little kid in a poor country. And they literally showed me, this kid showed me around. I don't even know. Again, it was weird, but like, maybe they were 10 years old, but they weren't any older. And they like show you around. They drive you. I mean, his friend got his moped and they took me around to visit the local town, because there's like, you have to go meet the village elder in Mali. And we went to another town, and I had read about this, and it was the funniest damn thing because it was true. We went to meet the elder. And when you go to visit the town, you have to meet the elder. That's the way it works. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you, Joe. Otherwise, you're being impolite. So I went to meet the village elder. And again, it's a village of a couple hundred people. Met the village elder in some small little enclosed thing, like a hut or something. And it was cute because I'd read it. It was true. The process is to ask you about your family. But literally, it's like, welcome. Do you have family? I'm not married. Do you have children? I do not. Are your parents still alive? Yes, they are. Tell me about them. Well, my mother is so-and-so, my father is so-and-so. Siblings? I have 3 siblings. Who are they? Well, my sister, but my brother. And you go through, do they have any children? Yes, my sister has 3 children, 2 boys and what are 3 boys? What are their names? What are they back in Chicago? Yes. And literally you walk through every family member. It was and I'd read about this and it was totally true. You've got to go through every member of your extended family practically with these guys. It's not just mom, dad. It's literally nieces and nephews. And it was fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. But it was very, like I said, so it was very weird having kids take you around, but that's what you do. And your social security number. Yeah. I mean, that's what you do there, and of course you pay them, and it was very, but the interesting thing in retrospect was these kids spoke French. And again, this was the second biggest town where a lot of people did not speak French. They spoke Bambara was the local language. They didn't speak French. And these kids spoke French, which again, in retrospect, being like 8 years old and kind of, poor, so to speak. Well, everyone was poor. Mali, it probably still is. Mali was one of the 5 poorest countries in the world at that point. And again, the nicest, no crime, the nicest freaking people. And then, of course, horrible terrorist infiltrators and everything else horrific. I mean, the country's in civil war now. It's terrible. Now it's a military government. It's terrible. But such a neat country. If it ever is safe to go back, is the neatest country. And a lot of cultural stuff that I didn't do because the country was rather large that I would like to go back and do more, but beautiful, neat country. Like I said, nice people, neat country, great music. Anyway, just everything about it. I was like, oh, what do you do? Oh, well. Anyway, very sad. La 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 la. Quoi d'autre? What else we got going here? Anything else? We've been going an hour and a half, so I may close up shop soon anyway. Remember that we got tomorrow night show, 6:00 Eastern as usual, and then we got our weekend show for the paid monthly subscribers. So that's Saturday at 11 a.m. Remember. So, do I miss all the travel? Yes, I love traveling. I'm going to start traveling again. This has been nice in the last, going away once a year for the last 2 years has been nice. I need to do more of it because I like being abroad. I like speaking languages. I like meeting people from all over. It's fun, so I need to do it again. Anyway, that's okay. Well, we're going to close up anyway, so you can go to sleep. The Saturday shows are a nice hangout. We always just sort of get into, it's kind of like the end of the show here where we get into talking about everything. Center EHR. I don't know what that means. Or CERN or EHR. What does that mean, Blizzy? I don't know what that means. What and where is that? Is it some power thing in some country or what is that? My eyes are itching a little bit. Medical health records. Okay. That's a big deal. My hair is getting long again. It's getting cut off though. I haven't called her yet. I got to call her because it's just, it's nice, but it gets to be, big and a pain in the ass, you know? Oh, system used in a lot of hospitals and clinics. That's bad. Okay, that's bad. That's not good. Thank you, Wandering, for the gift. Thank you. All right, guys, it's been an hour and a half. Because then we're connected to friend. Oh, you did your study there? Where were you, darling? Darling, Amanda. Before I sign off, I'll ask. Où est-ce que tu étais en France? En France, I should say. Thank you for the hatted mustache. Haven't had that in a while. Sort of deleted a whole database. Oh my God. Well, I'm assuming they're going to have backups of this stuff. They must, if it's that important of a computer system, right? If it's medical health that people use around the country. God. Oh, near Lille. Oh, interesting. Oh, that's kind of funny. I mean, as far as a different place to be. Huh. Interesting. My fave place in the US? I don't know. I mean, I'm from Chicago. I love Chicago, but I don't know. I like traveling. So like, I mean, I love New York. I don't really know Miami. The problem is I've traveled with my family. So like, I mean, San Francisco's okay. I don't love it lately. You know, I think it's gotten all the like rich tech people annoy me. LA, I haven't been to in 30 years, so I don't know. Texas, I don't really know. I've been to Austin, but I don't recall. So I don't really, I mean, I've been to a lot of smaller places in the US when we were kids, which I really liked. But I don't think I have a favorite place in the US. I mean, Chicago, because I'm from there. I love Chicago. Don't love DC, but you know, what do you do? Anyway. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off. Like I said, it's been an hour and a half. This is my time. I sign off to save my voice a little bit. Having to pronounce the name or what? What? Le Havre. I know that name. I'm always like, oh, Le Havre. Anyway, all right, guys, have a good night. I'm going to sign off on Discord. Jeffrey and two other people. Who else is there? Casual. Yep. Hang on, guys. Let me pull this. Oh, and Street Rat. Okay. See you guys. Hopefully see you tomorrow. All right. That's one down. YouTube, you're next. And then TikTok. All right, YouTubers, thanks for joining us. Have a good night all. Goodbye. Boom. All right. And then TikTok.